I'm excited about this episode of the Downloaded Content Podcast. So we have with us tonight Marsha Gosier, correct?
Yes, correct. Go see her.
I did pronounce that correct. And Sabrina wasn't with us, but I'll let Sabrina and the audience know how we actually met. So Sabrina, me and Mona, when we went to go do the James Mathis and Samuel McCrary interview, which, by the way, Marsha, I don't know if you know this, but did you know that on the Young Turks on Indisputable with Dr. Rashad, that they're running that story now?
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
I'll send you the link. But
okay.
So Sabrina, when we got there, Miss Marsha was there, and I already knew because she was dressed eccentrically. I was like, oh, it's a weirdo like us. We're going to get along perfectly. Right. And of course, because I come in wearing a keffiyeh and everybody knows I'm odd. And one of the first conversations that we got struck up because I heard her say the word ashe. And ashe is a word that we hear around here a lot because me and Mona are huge Bobby Hemmett. We listen to a lot of Bobby Hemmett around here.
See what I'm saying?
It's particular. So we struck up a conversation with Marsha about her spirituality, and it was extremely fascinating. And because Marsha, the more that you get on with us, you'll realize that me and Sabrina, for at least 13 years, have been trying to coalesce a spiritual coalition of people who are political activists also. And up until now, it's been very difficult. So that's how we met Marsha, is at Mr. Mathis's house when we were doing the interview with them. So I'm glad that all of you are here because, like I said, I've been real excited about this because you ladies are just going to cook. So first, Marsha, if you could explain to people who don't know, what does ashe mean?
Ashe is derived from Africa. It means blessings. It means it is the African equivalent of amen, but blessings unto you. And so with Yoruba, and so I will give you all my, since Daniel has opened the door to that. And so yes, my name, born with, due to the Middle Passage, is Marsha Gosier. It's not French. It's actually Haitian. It's an untouched island called Gosier, Goyze, and it means big nose pelican, and everyone in my family has that. And so that's how it's actually spelled. So of course, on that Middle Passage, a lot of the enslaved practice African spirituality, traditional African spirituality. And so my Yoruba name is Ade Alakuyade. Ade means royalty, and Alakuyade as in Olodumare, as in the hanger of the moon and stars, the almighty God. And so Ashe is blessings unto you. And so in Yoruba, we add a little extra to it, in Ifa, and it's Asheo. Yes. So, but yes, I am just excited to be here. And Daniel, you touched on something when you said, that you and Sabrina and Mona were looking for spiritual activists, because nothing is new under the sun, and it has to come back to that, because that's how things got done, 3,000-4,000 years ago. It was through our spiritual connection, because as we know, God is a spirit. God is not a man that God should lie. And so we have to honor nature in order to be just in everything. We have to respect this universe that God has created, and also understand that God expects so much out of us, because God has to oversee an entire universe. Just as God makes sure that the crickets and the water, and make sure that the rivers and the lakes connect, and make sure that our lakes don't bump into our ocean, and just how awesome and wonderful all of those things are. And so bringing you greetings today from Fort Valley, Georgia. And I am a Georgia girl, Georgia peach all day. And just excited to be here, and just glad that we all met, know that we are kindred spirits from thousands of years ago. I'm quite sure you all probably helped us get through a rebellion, or helped us through that at Underground Railroad or help kick some butt, or when they tried to give us one of those little dirty blankets, then you probably was somewhere like, don't take that blanket, don't take it. So,
Sabrina was
yeah,
probably
just
over there putting people's names in jars or something.
Man,
Yeah.
let's hope
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
yes, yes,
So,
yes.
pronounce the name of your path or your faith again for people.
It is Ifa.
Okay.
Ifa, Yoruba, which is actually a tribe in Africa, as we know, the continent of Africa. So Yoruba, and so when with the Middle Passage, you had a lot of royalty and kings and queens and magical people that were enslaved from Yoruba, Benin, and so you have that little pocket, and so it's known as Yoruba.
Okay, and so I always have to ask this of anybody of a different faith other than colonial Christian, corporate Christianity is what I call it.
Sure.
You're in Georgia. We're all
Yes.
here in Georgia. So were you always of this path, or how did you get to this path? I'm sure you went through the corporate Christian maze at some point. So go ahead. I'm fascinated to hear your
Absolutely
story.
not. Being from the South, which is the home of the Bible Belt. And so if you're in the South, there are two religions, Christianity and football. And so grew up in the Black church, AME. And, like most people, it was tradition. I felt very blessed to not have overly religious parents, and I didn't grow up in a very stringent doctrine of, AME. I was always allowed to be very inquisitive about things and encouraged to read. And so at 16, I went to go live with my father, who was like bump church. And so I thought that was the coolest thing, after having to go to church on Sundays and being a part of the choir and going to choir rehearsal on Wednesdays. But AMEs, we don't stay in church all day. So we don't, about 2 o'clock. I know y'all end about what, 11, but just joking. But we're done
The Methodists are there
all day.
11 on the dot. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
At the buffet.
So yes, so it's African Methodist Episcopal AME. So yeah, singing from the same sheet of music there. And so my father just was like done with Orthodox religion. So there was no church. So I'm like, okay, this is cool, But my faith, my understanding of spirituality and intuition just never changed. It wasn't like I was in an atheist type setting or anything of that nature. And so because I've always been allowed to be, inquisitive, and I'm a child of hip hop, and so now we're in this Public Enemy kind of stage at that time. And I start reading Malcolm X, and I'm attending a high school in Decatur, Southwest DeKalb, which is totally different than what you were used to in schools in Central Georgia. So I went from, if you wore a Black Excellence shirt, like with, I think at that time in like 88, you would see the Malcolm Martin and Me shirt. So if you were at Peach County at that time, you couldn't wear that shirt. You would get suspended, but kids could wear their rebel flag shirts, and that was acceptable and okay. And during the era that I was at Peach County still, I think we just had our first integrated prom in 1991. And so going to Southwest DeKalb, and I get there, and it is like going to an HBCU high school. So now I'm getting 10 points for wearing the Malcolm X t-shirt on Fridays for our weekly test. And so those things were like encouraged. And so, you graduated high school and you're just inquisitive. So I went through my whole Nation of Islam phase. I tell people I've tried everything but Buddhism, no elements of it, and found that there were so many similarities still in everything. And so just life and just having questions and being around, other people, and just not judging, and being able to understand that even if you were not a Christian from the American lens of it, sometimes that whole doctrine can make you feel like it's a gang. That's how I felt. So I can only speak for me. Even if you paid attention to the different churches, it's like, oh, you don't go to such and such Baptist? Well, if you don't go to this Baptist, then you ain't,
Well,
so
you said, there's two religions, football and Christianity. So it's all team
yes,
sports, right?
right.